Think about the last time in dating something almost happened. You almost sent the message. You almost put yourself out there. You almost let yourself believe that this could go somewhere. When was the last time you went into a dating situation completely open to it going wrong? Whether that's an approach, a message, or a date, there was no backup plan, no half investment, no preemptive detachment, just went all in. What if the most confident thing you could do in dating, the thing that would change everything about how you show up and your magnetism, was simply deciding that getting hurt is fine? Not something to survive, not something to protect yourself from, just fine. We know it sounds backwards, but the willingness to be hurt and not being afraid of it is the foundation that confident dating is built on. In this video, we'll walk you through why that is, why not being afraid of being hurt in dating is what will get you the results that you want, and how to do it. Welcome to the YouTube channel for Catch. My name is Sam and I'm the founder here at Catch. We believe unshakable confidence is the key to getting everything that you want in life and dating, and that's from working with 15,000 leaders globally. So on this channel, we help you to build that unshakable confidence and become the most unstoppable version of you. If you want to work with us in any way, all of that information is in the description box below, including a free to enter competition with prizes of up to £250. So how do we know if we are operating from a place of being scared of being hurt? Well, that can look like not putting yourself out there, not initiating, not letting yourself believe that something can get better or work out, and finding it hard to believe that someone could be into you. And therefore, you pull away or retract or cling on tightly to any connection that comes your way. Why is that important when building your confidence in dating? Well, the paradox is, by trying to avoid being hurt, it pretty much guarantees that you will be. The instinct to protect yourself is natural, because the way that we perceived rejection or rejection is the same as physical pain, which was demonstrated by a 2011 study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of the Sciences, that the same part of the brain activates from perceived rejection as physical pain. But the protective behaviours this triggers, such as emotional unavailability, pulling away, not being vulnerable, or being anxious and clingy and needy, increases the likelihood that dating connections will not work out. When you brace for impact, the other person can feel that. It's energetic and it shows up in your behaviours. And that isn't attractive. So it doesn't avoid pain. It just exchanges one type of pain for another. Whereas confident people have better dating outcomes. They're able to be vulnerable. They're able to connect. They have a better tolerance for an acceptable amount of inconsistency. They view things more positively and they communicate better. Plus, their sense of self doesn't destabilize because of relationship uncertainty. So they're better able to deal with the uncertainty of dating, and they're also better able to deal with loss and bounce back from rejection. Confident people still feel hurt and the sting of rejection. They just don't let it get in their way, and they're able to bounce back from it faster because they don't make it mean something about themselves, their worthiness, or who they are. This shows if you can stop being afraid of being hurt, then you will minimize the chances of being hurt. You will build confidence and become a more confident version of you along the way. If you are able to get over the fear of being hurt, you can show up as yourself because you won't be worried about the outcome. Rejection loses its power because it stops meaning anything about you. You approach more because you're not worried about how it's going to go and the fear of being hurt, embarrassed, or rejected, and you stop self-rejecting before you've even made the move. If you do encounter hurts, you bounce back faster. And if you don't care what others think of you and you're showing up as yourself, it means that you can connect with people more genuinely, and that confidence becomes sustaining. So how do we stop ourselves being afraid of being hurt? How do we get over it? First, it's being clear on what the worst possible outcome actually is. Because in the moment, being hurt or being rejected feels like the worst outcome. But if you were getting older and you realised that you weren't in the relationship you wanted, you didn't have the dating life you wanted, but you also knew deep down you hadn't taken the risks, you hadn't put yourself out there, and you hadn't honoured yourself and gone after what you truly want, that will weigh on you 10 times more than being hurt, having loved and lost, or being single, but knowing you did everything you could to honour yourself. So if we are able to focus on what actually is the worst outcome, it makes putting yourself out there a lot less scary. The second thing we want to do is neutralise the negative outcome. So in a dating situation, perhaps you're scared that someone will not respond to your message, they won't like you, they won't want to be in a relationship with you. But if we could get our head around that possibility and take the negative emotion away from it, almost entertain it as a possible outcome, but not letting it affect us or having emotion around it, then that negative outcome or possibility of it no longer has power over you. Even thinking bigger, some people are terrified of being single for their whole life, not finding their partner, not having children. And it feels scary to lose the person in front of us because it might mean in our head that we may not get the outcome that we dream of. But what if being single forever no longer scared you? What if you were able to imagine yourself single or without children or not having the dating outcomes you want? If you had to accept that right now, you would probably find a way to be happy anyway. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, pets, find a fulfilling career. You would find a way to be happy. But sometimes that fear of being single or not getting the outcome you want embeds so deeply that we then cling to everything in front of us as if we're losing what we want. But we don't want to be with someone who isn't treating us right or isn't the right partner for us. So it's better to neutralise and take the fear out of these potential outcomes and take your power back so that you can find the right situation and be confident and present with the people you're dating in the now. And thirdly, remember that being vulnerable and being genuinely open to being hurt is what is attractive, like we spoke about at the start. And vulnerability in itself shows your confidence. Fourth, reframe what dating is for. So shift your mindset from dating being about performance and approval to being about exploration, fun, learning more about yourself and seeing if there's a connection. That helps take the pressure off and make any rejection less about us and more about the circumstances. And we've done several videos recently, long form videos, on rejection not being real and how to overcome a fear of rejection. So check those out as well. Fifth, practice getting hurt in low stakes ways. So maybe you can seek out rejection. Maybe you can practice putting yourself out there, sending the first message, asking people on dates, and do so a number of times until you're used to the rejection but you may also be surprised with some of the positive responses. Act confident and see what results you get, because the more positive reinforcement you get, or the more desensitized to hurt that you get, the more likely you will take risks and be successful in the future. It also teaches your nervous system that you can handle knockbacks and they don't intimidate you anymore. So it also helps with fear and risk out of being hurt. And finally, shift from focus on the outcome to focusing on the process. So link to the previous point, focus on taking the risks, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable. And if you put your energy there, you'll be less focused on the response that you get. Whereas what we see with a lot of our clients is they worry so much about the response and the outcome and exactly what to say that they talk themselves out of it, or they're very unconfident by the time they take that action. And then that energy translates and they're more likely to be hurt, that paradox we spoke about at the start. And once we can see putting ourselves out there, being knocked back, being hurt as part of the process of investing in ourselves, getting more confident, honouring our deepest desires and going after them, then the outcome becomes less important. And minor blips along the way are much less scary. So I hope that helped. Let us know if you have any questions or video ideas below. And if you've got any tips on how you've built your confidence or been able to get over the fear of being hurt, drop those below to help others. If you need any help with this, we can book one-to-one coaching with us. We do have a bit of a wait, but there's more availability from mid-July, end of July onwards. And we also have 2 workbooks to help build your confidence at home, with one specific on dating. So all of the links to those are down below. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting and subscribing. It really helps the channel to grow. And see you next time. Thanks. Bye. Happy birthday, Dave.